What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day as always. Today we're going to be going over the best upgrades for an SCX24. Now this is for the Gladiator, Deadbolt, C10, any of them, best upgrades you could possibly do to your rig. Now the number one main thing that I think you need to do right off the start is add a little bit of weight to this thing, whether that be some brass components, some metal wheels with bigger tires that weigh just a little bit more. These things need a little bit more weight. They are very easy to flip over when they come stock. So definitely adding weight would be my number one concern when I get these. What I like to do is add some wheels and tires. I like to add the metal links along with some brass diff covers. All of those mods together typically give you a much better performance. Now that we have all that covered, the next thing that I would definitely recommend ordering, honestly, as soon as you order your rig, would be ordering an Emax steering servo along with an engine or motor of your choice. This one happens to be the Endura motor. I will link all these parts down below on Amazon for you guys to check out. If you do want to pick some of these up, I'd recommend picking up a motor and steering servo. As soon as you order these, the stock ones go and die very fast. I think we had ours for maybe a week before they gave out, and that was on a stock setup without all this weight. If you're adding the weight, they'll be gone much quicker. Now that you've upgraded your steering servo, you're going to want to also upgrade your steering. Now there are kits that come with steering and the servo. I would recommend upgrading both. There's a lot of like slop and play in the factory plastic steering. You can eliminate that very easily with the metal links, and it just makes the Jeep handle much better. Next on the list, these are pretty much mandatory, is going to be some new shocks. These, I believe, are the 43mm shocks. I will link them down below as well. These things have so much down travel compared to the factory shocks. Factory shocks don't really give you much performance at all. Another tip I can give you is mount them upside down and take the springs out. You get a much lower center of gravity. You may need limiting straps depending on your setup, but if you need that, we'll make a video of that in the future. You can also polish the shafts on these and it'll stop them from binding as much. These do have an issue with binding when you get them, so I'd recommend putting them upside down, no springs, and polishing them up a little bit. Next on the list is going to be some quality tires along with some metal wheels. That'll just add more weight to where you want it, which is the unsprung weight on the axle basically, and that'll help a ton, especially getting some new tires. The factory tires honestly suck on these things. These are Little Guy Racing Parts Swamp King MTs. However, if you want to go a little bit cheaper route, you can go ahead and pick up some Endura tires and wheels off of Amazon. Both of them are fairly affordable and definitely make a big difference. I'm a fan of the Little Guy Racing Part tires. However, I will say these Enduro tires have done very well for the price. And while we're on the topic of tires, you can also buy some new foam inserts for them that are much softer. There's a ton of different insert options. I honestly prefer just the really soft foams. Much softer, they give the tire much better grip on obstacles, and as you can see, these are extremely soft tires. I'm barely touching these, and they're kind of giving a little bit. They pretty much resemble an aired down tire on a real Jeep, and they're pretty much flawless on the course. They do a great job on these little rock steps. They do a great job on this hill climb. All around, definitely recommend picking up some quality tires along with some new foam inserts or any kind of inserts of your choosing. Now the next mod is 100% optional, and I wouldn't say a necessity, but maybe you should consider it if you're trying to add a little bit more weight, would be new axles. So these are actually full metal axles that we picked up off of Amazon for fairly cheap. I forget the exact price for these, but they will be linked down below in the description for you guys to check out. These added a ton of weight and completely changed how this thing behaves on the course. Much harder to flip over now. It actually widened the stance as well. You can get wider axles, tires stick out just a little bit more, gives you a little bit more grip. Next up, it's a little bit hard to see on the built Gladiator, so I went ahead and pulled out a spare axle, but it'll be extensions for your tires, basically spacers for your RC car. These things widen the stance quite a bit, as you can see. Makes you have a much more like stable, pretty much on hill climbs and off camber stuff. I would definitely recommend picking up a set of these. They're fairly cheap as well and very easy to install. All of these mods are actually very easy to install, and they probably take 30 minutes at max for some of these, but I would definitely recommend picking up extensions. You can get brass ones that will also add weight down low. As you can see, this is a stock axle with the brass diff cover and the brass extensions, and honestly that works really well. If you don't want to go ahead and buy metal axles, these work perfectly fine. Now with those simple mods, you'll have a much more capable rig. It'll have no problem on some of the harder lines on some of the courses. We honestly built this course to be difficult, and this thing walks right up it. Like I said, all these products will be linked down below if you guys want to check them out. That'll make it much easier for you guys to find the product that I'm talking about. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.